Hello Friends knows very little about subjects but still claims that he's an expert here, bringing you another Dota 2 video on the 4 most broken 1v5 heroes in Dota 2. Number 1. Bristleback. Why is Bristle OP? Well, honestly, it's just one big reason. His Aghanim Scepter upgrade is completely bonkers. If you hover over his Aghanim Scepter upgrade in-game, it tells you that it makes Viscous Nasal Goo AoE and increases the max stack count from 4 to 8. This makes Viscous Nasal Goo the single largest source of minus armor in the entire game on one spell. What the tooltip doesn't tell you though is that as of 7.28, Ag Scepter increases the radius of this ability from 600 to 950. This is a stupidly huge range. What the tooltip also doesn't tell you is that as of 7.29, Ag Scepter reduces the cast time of this ability from 0.3 seconds to 0. As this hero currently stands, once he picks up an Ags, it feels like you can't step within a screen of him without being slowed to a crawl. Then, an instant casting, max move speed pig charges at you and one-shots you, because he has plus 300 damage and you have minus 20 armor. Obviously, this is not very balanced. But it's even more ridiculous when you consider the fact that Bristleback, traditionally speaking, is hard countered by heroes that can break his passive. This new Ag Scepter upgrade gives Bristle a way to play where he doesn't give a remote shit about breaks, effectively nullifying everything that previously hard countered him. So, when you throw on top of this Ags the new spell lifesteal items and a mountain of other random buffs, you end up with what might be the single most OP cheese hero currently in Dota. How do you play Bristleback? 1. Pick Bristleback for 1, 2, or 3 position. 2. Start with as little regen in stats as possible, rushing a bottle first item. If you're in a side lane, then you probably want a soul ring instead. 3. Laning is all about farming. Spam your quills to push out the wave and focus on stacking as many camps as possible, picking up runes on the way. 4. Generally, the item build is Vanguard, Hood, and Kaya and Sange, going for the Ag Scepter whenever you feel strong enough to survive in teamfights. 5. Once you have Ags, run at every single tower, killing the enemy team if they stand in front of you. Make sure to play teamfights to kite as much as possible, because if the fights go long enough, you'll be able to two-shot their 0 move speed carry. 6. Eventually, the enemy team will be scared to fight you. This is when you go 5-shot Roche, run at their high ground with Aegis, and end the game. Number 2. Broodmother. Why is Brood OP? Mainly because her rework made her borderline impossible to counter, and an absolute menace in the mid to late game. Firstly, Insatiable Hunger swapping places with spawn spiderlings makes it so that all of the spider killing heroes no longer hard counter Brood. Why? Because now you play as a right click harass hero within the first 5 levels, then as a summons hero at level 6. But previously, Broodmother would just start cutting waves at level 6 anyway. So where these spider-killing heroes previously would shut down Brood is in the first 5 levels. And thus, because she literally doesn't have spiders in the first 5 levels, these heroes do nothing to Brood anymore. Moreover, the cooldown on Insatiable Hunger got reduced from 45 to 25 seconds. This means that you can use it on every single creep wave. This change makes harassing Broodmother totally pointless, but probably the biggest buff to the hero is the fact that the new spawn spiderlings gives you twice the amount of spiders than you had before. The most annoying thing about this is that since all of her spells already do so much damage, you basically get 2 heroes for the price of 1, because she can buy all of the offlane aura items while simultaneously carrying the game with damage, since her spells do so much raw damage without needing any item upgrades. How do you play Broodmother? 1. Pick Broodmother in the 2 or 3 position. 2. Start with Branches, Quelling Blade, a bit of regen, and as many Soul Ring components as you can get away with. 3. Spam your abilities with Soul Ring, making sure to trade as much as possible with your Q. 4. Go 1-4-1, rushing Mana Boots into Hood. Max Silken Bola after Spin Web. 5. Take over their jungle, farming as many camps as possible and pushing towers when no enemy is in your lane. 6. Build Pipe, Mech, Solar, and whatever other beefy boy items your team needs. If you don't need any more utility items, then feel free to start building Chad items like Ethereal Blade, Dagon, and Assault Cuirass. 7. Once you hit level 20, you can easily start threatening racks with the insane spider damage talent. Use this advantage to split up the enemies and win fights, eventually going high ground off of a kill. Number 3. Axe. Why is Axe OP? Similar to Bristleback, there is one big reason. His Ags Shard plus Manta Style does an insane amount of damage. So much damage that you can be a 6-slotted carry and perfectly time your BKB plus Satanic and still not survive through his Berserker's Call. Why does this combo do so much damage? Because Ag Shard lets your spin proc off of auto attacks and increases the proc chance from 20% to 30%. And for some odd reason, the auto attack procced spins do not trigger the cooldown on counter helix, and they work on illusions. To give you an idea of just how much damage this does, if you have only a Manta Style and a Moon Shard, Axe easily pumps out over 1000 DPS. And not just any 1000 DPS, 1000 pure damage per second, on top of a low cooldown BKB piercing stun, which means no amount of resistance, armor, or magic immunity will keep you alive. To put this into perspective, a 6-slotted level 30 Terrorblade has just over 3000 HP. A Manta plus Moonshard Axe can solo kill a 6-slotted level 30 Terrorblade. Let that sink in for a second. How do you play Axe? 1. Pick Axe for the 1, 2, or 3 position, but preferably as a 3. 2. Start with Quelling Blade, some stat items, and whatever regen you think you need for the lane, opting to be safer rather than greedier. 3. Rush Vanguard as soon as humanly possible. I've personally been rushing Vanguard so quickly that I literally start with 0 items. You can give this a try, but you might get reported for griefing. 4. Max Spin, going for extra points in W if you can use it to dominate the lane. 5. Eventually cut the wave, farm neutral camps, and dive the enemies under tower. 6. Rush Blink Dagger and fight non-stop. If you're not fighting, opt to farm jungle as to not show your position on the map. 7. Get Manta Style and Ag Shard. Use Mantas to cut waves and constantly hunt people across the map. Boots of Travel are amazing for games where the enemies are trying to avoid you. 8. Get AC, BKB, Heart, and other tanky boy late game items. Eventually you'll call and solo kill their carry and then easily win the game. Number 4. Chaos Knight. Why is CK OP? Well, firstly, because the Ag Shard upgrade is absurdly busted. As of 7.29, the Ag Shard spawns a 100% damage illusion of Chaos Knight attacking the target for 6 seconds. Think back to the games where you played support and imagine the enemy carry hitting you uninterrupted for 6 seconds. I think it goes without saying that for most carries, this is probably more than twice the amount of time that they'd need to actually kill you from full to 0. On top of this, the Ag Shard increases the stun range by 300. And this is probably the most frustrating thing about the Ag Shard. It feels like if you're within a screen of Chaos Knight, he stuns you, and if that thing connects, you die. Another big reason that CK is imbalanced is that at level 15, also as of 7.29, he has a 35% cleave talent. So that age-old problem of CK eventually falling off in the late game because he can't flash farm simply poofed out of existence with the addition of this talent. If the game goes late, CK will get fully slotted, and a fully slotted CK has the literal highest single target damage output of any carry in the game, barring only heroes with multiple rapiers. Not to mention, CK with an Ags summons an illusion of every hero on his team, literally doubling his team's damage output. So, now this hero dumpsters at every single point in the game, early, mid, and late. And if that's not OP, I don't know what is. How do you play Chaos Knight? 1. Pick CK in the 1 or 3 position. 2. Start with Quelling Blade, some stats, and some regen. Mangoes are also great for lanes where you can get a lot of kills with stun. 3. Play to pull the lane back and kill people with stun when the lane is in front of your tower. 4. Rush treads into armlet and then run around and murder people. If your team doesn't want to fight, then use ulti to farm and push waves. 5. If you're a carry or snowballing from the offlane, build Sanjin Yasha, BKB, AC, and Heart, picking up the Ag Shard whenever it's available. 6. If you're not snowballing from the offlane, then build Blink and Ags. 7. In teamfights, prioritize one-shotting supports. Eventually, you'll have enough of a lead where you can start one-shotting cores. Do that a couple of times, and then you can pretty easily win the game. Anyway, that's it for this video. I do have to mention something quickly at the end here. Unfortunately, I was sent a cease and desist order from BSJ Enterprise lawyers. These gentlemen basically said that You cannot defame our client. You cannot call this man a sociopath. You cannot say that he eats live squirrels. All of these things are completely illegal. And so in order to repent for those actions, I essentially need to promote one of BSJ's products. So if you could go into the Dota 2 game, open up the fan support bundles, and Control F for Arkosh. Make sure to buy those bundles. Unfortunately, BSJ owns 10% in that company. I think it might actually be a cult, which it doesn't surprise me that BSJ is involved in this. Unfortunately, I might actually get in trouble for saying that. In any case, I appreciate you checking out this video and checking out the Arkosh fan bundles. You guys are awesome, and I hope to see you in another video.